Hey guys, it's almost Tuesday. Don't mind my face mask, just doing some skincare during quarantine. It's a coffee scrub. But anyway, basically I made a pair of pants. I saw them on Pinterest right here and I was like, wow, those are super cute. I want them, so I looked for them online. Best thing I could find was like a $300 pair of ripoffs, so I was like, fuck it, I'll make it myself. Whipped out these bad boys, and well, they did go really successful, especially for my first time trying to make clothes, or customize them, I guess. I think I could do better, so I'm gonna try and sell these and remake the pair today while showing you guys how. I posted them online and I had so many people ask me for a how-to video or to explain it to them, so I thought I'll just upload it here, and if you guys want to watch and make a pair for yourself, you can. I'm really easy, did not require a bunch of stuff. So yeah, if you guys want to follow along, thanks for tuning in. Let's get to it. Alright, so for my materials, I bought this grommet kit off of Amazon. It came with the clasp for both top and bottom. Came with a few other pieces. This metal piece to hammer down and connect the pieces when you're attaching both, a hole puncher, and then this piece to stabilize it while you're punching them in. I also used a wooden base just to make sure I didn't tear up my floors, because you're going to be hammering pretty hard to fasten them together, so just something strong to sort of stabilize while you fasten them. Got 2 chains, made sure they were the right size for looping through the jeans. Also got these clasps to put them together. They're just quick links that screw. A seam ripper for removing the pockets, and then a marker for tracing my circles, and of course the pants. Alright, so now I'm going to take my pants, my scissors, and just cut right along the seam that goes down your hip. I would cut until a little bit below the back pocket. Remember that it's always better to start off shorter than longer, unless you want to do some sewing, which I tried to make this a no-sew project. So this would be a lot easier if you had fabric scissors. I'm using kitchen scissors because I didn't want to buy fabric scissors. We don't need a really clean cut because you're not going to be able to see it once we fold down the crease. So it's okay if it's blunt or a little janky. So just cut along until about the bottom corner of your back pocket, maybe a little bit further. Alright, so now that that cut is done, you can see I went a little bit further than I said to. Doesn't really matter how far, you'll probably end up cutting down further later. So you're just going to go back ahead and do the same thing on the other side. You can measure it if you want to. I just kind of eyeballed it because I know I'd be going back later to make it longer. But just compare the two and try to make them as even as you can for now. Since I did not measure, I just kind of used my fingers, made sure they were about 5 fingers wide. If this doesn't help, you can also peel back your back layer and make sure they just look about even. Again, you're going to cut later. This next step is probably not necessary, but I do it to make it a little bit easier, especially for your top hole. It's usually reinforced. There's 2 layers of fabric there, so I just cut the inside one since you're not going to be able to see it. It makes cutting your holes a lot easier. You just cut away that inside piece of fabric. There's usually some thread in there. You can trim that too. It doesn't add to anything, and they're going to look pretty ugly on the inside, but like I said, it's going to be pressed to your body. Nobody has to know. Now I am just demonstrating how you're going to fold it over. You're going to want to draw 2 circles, or you can use your hole puncher that came with your grommet kit. However, I didn't use the hole puncher just because I found that mine was not strong enough to cut through the denim, and I got pretty good at eyeballing it, so to use the hole puncher just seemed like an unnecessary step. Once you trace your circles, you're just going to cut them out very carefully. It's always better to cut smaller rather than bigger, especially because most jeans are stretchy nowadays. The circles you cut out will have some give, but if you cut too big, the grommet will slip through and you can't fix them unless you want to sew. This step seems a little tricky at first, it's probably the most annoying part of the project, but once you get the hang of it and get rolling, it goes super quick. So now I've aligned my grommet. I'm going to put the top piece on and this little pusher, I guess, I don't know what it's called, and you're going to basically hammer it down until they are cinched together, which will hold your fabric in place and hold your crease down. Probably shouldn't have set my camera on the same surface I was hammering on, but it gives you an idea of how to do it. There's also a lot of videos on how to use a grommet kit online, which is how I learned because I had no idea. Alright, so next you're going to repeat that step, just go a couple inches down depending on how far you want them spaced, and draw 2 new circles based off your crease. And then you're going to get out your seam ripper. My first time making these I used a needle. It was very tedious, so I definitely suggest using a seam ripper just to make your life easier. And you are going to individually rip out the threads that connect the back pocket to the pants. As you can see in this picture here, that's what they did, removed the top corner of the back pocket. You could cut through the back pocket if you wanted to, but since I was going off the picture, I decided to peel it off, and it does make for a really cool final product, although it is annoying. So now that my back pocket is ripped how I want it to, I'm just going to repeat the last step I told you before we ripped out the pocket. You're going to cut out 2 circles based on where your fold's at. You can see me struggling. Do not cut yourself, please. But this is actually our 5th grommet. I've done a few. You're just going to repeat these steps. The picture has 5, so I went 5 down. Altogether, you're going to cut about 20 holes, 40 if you count, doing it twice for each fold. So here's 1/2 final product, and then I'm just going to go through and do the exact same thing on the other side of the pants.
You can do it. Don't give up.
When you do begin cutting holes in the front side of whatever side you're cutting right now, you can just use the other side to eyeball and make sure that they're going to be about even. That's what I did here, just to make sure that they would align when I was chaining them together in the end. So here is one side completed. Once you have 10 holes and they're folded down and good to go, it is time to flip them over and do it all again. Hang in there. So here's what it looks like when all our holes are cut. You can see I tried to make them as even as possible. We have 5 on each side and 5 on the other. So it was about 10 o'clock when I started making these. It hit 11 and I realized I had a quiz due at midnight. We love online college. So this is me angrily doing my homework and then going back to making pants. we have all of our holes cut, we can start to thread through our chain. This is the easy part. We are done with the hard part. Say a prayer, thank God. Just make sure that you buy small enough ones. The first chains that I bought were too big, and also make sure that they are nice quality. They don't have to be super high-end, they don't have to be super durable, just make sure they're not really cheap plastic because they will break. Obviously they're holding your pants together, so if they do snap, you might flash whoever you're around. Mine were tied in a knot, so feel free to watch me struggle as I untie them, and then we just feed them through. So this part was actually kind of a pain in the ass. The chain I bought was not big enough to link to my connectors, so I actually just pried off pieces of the chains I originally bought that were too big and used them to connect around. Most of the chains you buy will have fasteners. They also sell like connectors at Walmart, so you can do this part. Probably should have put that in the beginning, sorry, but I just connected them to my links and to the chains so they would be able to fit through the holes of the jeans but still connect to the smart links. It is kind of hard to see what I'm doing, so I'm always more than happy to answer any questions in the comments or if you guys have me on social media. Here's kind of a close-up of what they look like when they're all connected, and like always we're just going to go through and do the exact same thing on the other side. Alright guys, so finally, at long last, here is the final product. These jeans are not the most flattering on me, so I'm probably going to sell these and keep my original pair, but overall I'm really happy with how they turned out, and I would love to see how your guys' projects went if you made these along with me. Alright guys, so that pretty much concludes this video. I'm about to go wash my face. I'm pretty happy with how these turned out. This was my first how-to video, so I'm sorry if all the video angles were not the very best. It's pretty hard to record on your own when you need two hands for what you're doing. Yeah, I would love to see what you guys make if you made some with me. A lot of you follow me on social media, so thanks for watching, and see you next Tuesday. Bye.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.